who are very much on ground to help tackle these issues. Welcome, gentlemen. It's good to see you both again. If you're ready, Journalist Hangout starts now. Let's begin with insecurity in Nigeria. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, and the Chairman of the Police Service Commission, Solomon Arase, have met with retired IGPs in Abuja, and they discussed effective synergy and other issues affecting the Commission and the Nigeria Police. Mr. Arase appreciated the IGP and the retired IGPs at the meeting and assured Nigerians that the Commission will ensure adequate welfare of police officers and effective security in the country. Let's share that report with you.
It's another meeting convened by the chairman of the Police Service Commission. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali, and retired Inspectors General of Police are in attendance. The meeting provides the chairman of the Police Service Commission and the Inspector General of Police the opportunity to draw from the experience of the former police chiefs on recruitment, promotion, and discipline in the force.
We also look at the contemporary issues and challenges facing the Nigerian police force. We think very strongly that the IGP and the retired IGPs should make their voice vocal on contemporary issues.
Beyond this, crime management and control is a sticking point, and the police chiefs are evolving strategies.
Crime prevention and control is an issue that is very, very dynamic and requires dynamic approach. So there is hope at the end of the tunnel, like my Oga said. We'll continue to discuss, synergize, and cooperate with everybody that would also support.
Of the police. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
Yes, and of course, we've spoken about this, hinted at this now, efforts at the police to tackle insecurity. And now with the new Police Service Commission boss coming on himself, that's Solomon Arase, a former Inspector General of Police. Let's, get to hear from Adekunle Yusuf and Asoko James now to know what their expectations are. Let's begin that way with your expectations for Solomon Arase now heading the PSC.
Yeah, you need to understand the recent history of, the relationship between the Inspector General of Police, that office, and the office of the Chairman of Police Service Commission. So it's been a frosty relationship of late, so much that the immediate past Chairman of PSA, Police Service Commission, had to tender his resignation. That is Musiliu Smith, a wonderful, professional officer, but that office and the office of the Inspector General of Police, there were issues so much that they had to go to court that, it's my office that should handle, recruitment. It's not your office. It's my office that should handle welfare. It's my office that should do promotions. So they had to go to to the court, and the High Court, had to decide. But at the end of the day, he felt he needed to just take a bow, and he resigned. So somebody else was in that office. I'm saying chairman of PSC in acting capacity until President Muhammadu Buhari had to look for another, thoroughbred, professional officer in the person of the ex-IGP Solomon Arase. So, but when you look at Arase, I think coming from that background, he felt the Police Service Commission needs the office of the Inspector General of Police, just as the office of the Inspector General of Police needs the Police Service Commission. That you just have to manage whatever the egos are and make sure that what Nigerians want, which is effective policing, that they deliver that. So you have to go and look for as many former Inspector General of Police as possible And to me, that's a brilliant, idea, and it's a signal to the effect that I think they are ready to do what is proper, because there's a lot. When you see the statement issued by the Office of the Inspector General of Police, there's a lot the current IGP can learn from his predecessors. Many of them who have been in that office before, they faced some of these, issues.
Similar
so how some of them dealt with such issues. So comparing notes, learning from them, and most of them must have worked together at one point or the other, either as boss or subordinate or as whatever. So this is a good, to me, this is a good, move on the part of the Nigerian Police, PSC, and the Office of the Inspector General of Police.
Let me compare your thoughts with that of Asuko. What did you make of that meeting with the IGP, his predecessors, so to speak, and the new man in the PSC in person of Mr. Arase?
I'm also going to support him because this is the first time we are having this synergy. In fact, we need this synergy for us to have a better police force, because there's been this back and forth: who is leading, or who is supposed to head, or who is supposed to bring promotions or do the recruitment of police officers in Nigeria. And that was why we had that court case involving and then the PSC.
Right, as Asuko, I'll come back to you, but in the meantime, the major problem now in the PSC, going by assessments, going by people's expectations, has been another issue, though, that I should say is the issue of welfare of, police officers. There had been issues of, corruption even within the Police Service Commission. That's even the one that's just the one before now. And people are now saying perhaps now is a time for Solomon Arase to spearhead investigations into how certain police officers were promoted, were disciplined, especially police officers attached to, to secure the lives and property of privileged Nigerians. What do you make about this sentiment and how crucial it is?
Well, that much is in the realm of, speculations. Those who have, valid cases can come forward, and I know the chairman of the PSC, Solomon, go and check his record, even in the police before his retirement.
He was in Panty before.
Go and check his record in the police before his retirement. He's somebody that his appointment will truly benefit the entire police force generally. So if anybody has any valid case that somebody was not properly promoted, bring it forward. He's not the kind of person that will sit on it. I'm too sure about that.
You think so too, in terms of reading the force of...
even when his appointments came up,
right,
so many people were saying, this is a round peg in a round hole. Solomon Arase is more an investigative, just like we say, investigative reporter. To him, his forte is in investigation. So with these so-called stories that are making the rounds, I'm very sure he's going to go all out to see that is addressed, because I know there are complaints about people who were recruited way above their weight. Having a junior officer, being promoted ahead of a senior, officer, and not just that, but something change hands, which is money change hands. So he's going to look at it, and once he looks at it, I'm very sure with the kind of person that he is, he's going to make sure that such thing does not happen. Because for him, he's trying to see how he can reduce corruption and corrupt practices, and also reform the Nigeria police force in such a way that at least Nigerians should be proud to say that we have a police force or a police force that they can be proud of. We know that it won't happen in a jiffy, but at least there will be some minor or major changes that will happen. First, it has to start with, recruitment and discipline of the officers, promotion of officers. Once that happens, every other thing can even fall into place. Because, for instance, if a police officer is supposed to be promoted at a particular time and is not promoted, and maybe his junior officer is being promoted well ahead of him, it brings disaffection. Even the person will not want to even bring the best, into the service. So for him, I want to believe, if I'm thinking for him, he will be looking at, okay, how do I make the Nigerian police force much attractive for even you and I to say, okay, we want to leave journalism, which we know we can't, to go into the Nigerian police force, to retire, to help try and see it as a service for Nigeria. So you'll be looking at that.
But the takeaway for me from what you're saying is to make the force attractive, to make it more attractive.
Because the thing is, generally, Kemi, if you go outside, there is this, people have lost confidence in the Nigerian police, completely. So it has to start from somewhere. And if it starts with this investigation, with whatever is being flown around, if it starts with it, and those who are found culpable are dealt with, people will now know that there's a new sheriff in town. So it has to start from somewhere. And we are hoping that this has presented itself, and then with the collaboration of the ex-IGPs, and then this present one, we'll be able to see that synergy that will be able to help us tackle and even reform the police completely. Right.
Quickly, before we move on to other issues, you started off, laying precedents of, records of, first relationships between the sitting IGP and his predecessors, especially the person who mans the PSC. To serve as a way to make things better now that somebody else is now occupying that position, what do you think needs to give this time around?
I believe Nigeria needs to take another look at the way we recruit people to head the Police Service Commission. The moment you bring an ex-IGP to come and head the Police Service Commission, you're already creating a breeding ground for the type of what happened lately. Because, for example, somebody who has been Oga to my colleague here for many years, and later he too became Oga, and you now brought him back. So you will expect the same Oga to continue, which may not be. You understand me? So then I think people should read the law setting up the Police Service Commission. We should do away with the idea of bringing in ex-IGP.
And bring who instead?
Should bring civilians, people who are well versed in administrative issues. There are several men and women of integrity in Nigeria. Because what that law envisages, but the president, is the one that, recruits people to head the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian police, force.
Right.
So if you do that, I think this issue about welfare, unfair promotions, all those things will have to be tackled properly. You will expect every man or woman to have gallantry, to have loyalty, to display a lot of professional, values. And who are these people that have it that are not being promoted? Who are those that don't have it are being promoted? We need to straighten things out.
All right. We'll see how this will pan out eventually, especially with the new leadership at the PSC, especially for the good of the force. Let's move on now to this time around politics, and this discussion is about off-season governorship elections in states like Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State. And now this is now dominating the polity. The All Progressives Congress has adopted the direct mode of primaries to choose its governorship candidate for the election coming up in Kogi State later this year. The party informed the Independent National Electoral Commission and the aspirants of its decision to adopt the direct mode. Asuko, what do you make of this At a point, it was said to be indirect. Then now the party says it will adopt the direct mode. And in court, the Kogi State High Court had also said the party cannot, use the initial discussion of using a delegate list now. But now the party says it is direct mode all the way.
Yeah, the thing is, Kemi, me, I'm an advocate of direct mode of primary, Why? Because if you are a member of a political party, forget about that, okay, the delegates list will be there and all that. But if you're a member of a political party, you know that you're going to be paying your annual dues, to make sure that the party functions. Then when it comes to the Congress world, meetings, you have to be there, So the only way you feel among or feel part of that political party is when you are involved in such primary, and which is the direct primary, because that is when they will now know how many people are members of this particular political party in this ward, because it's going to be ward by ward basis, So when that happens, you know that is the accurate number or the accurate figures that are coming that are real members. Unlike the delegate list, sometimes the delegates can be somebody you don't know, and that is why the indirect primary sometimes is who has the money bags, and mostly they are always the governors that are always clamoring for indirect primaries, indirect, primary for them to be able to bring their person. I don't know how they want to do this, but the thing is, for the direct primaries, I am in support of it. For the APC to come up with the direct primaries, I think they would have seen a lot of things. Maybe they are looking at the future that it might turn out into litigation one way or the other, because it was some of the people that took them to court are the aspirants themselves. So they said the delegates list were doctored. That is not what it means that they themselves, they don't have, they've not even seen the delegate lists. So for them, they know, if APC has, looked at it from different angles and said, okay, fine, for us to be fair, let's make it direct. You go to the different wards that you have in Kogi, converse, talk to people. So when it comes to the election, the Congress, when they will be doing the primaries tomorrow, APC did well in adopting this. There was a time at the National Assembly they were saying that they only wanted direct primaries, but they brought direct, indirect, and then they brought another one again, So let's just see how this will pan out. I just hope that there won't be violence, because we are talking about Kogi here. That is my prayer for tomorrow. I hope there won't be violence. For people, let those who are the real owners of the party come out and then choose their candidate.
So the party says it's direct. What do you think is the implication of this sudden decision?
In politics, because you need to remind many people, there are three ways of, electing your leadership. One is through consensus, one is through direct primaries, one is through indirect primaries. So the three options. So the party has been trying one way or the other to think about the best way forward, and each of the options you will see party, especially the contestants, not happy. I think about a few days ago, you see the state governor, Yaya Bello, having a meeting with all the aspirants, and he came out to say there is a huge tension, within the camp of the aspirants, well, there is expected to be tension because in the parties, it's always a big problem. Who emerges? Everybody wants to emerge. And that is why we always rule out the consensus. Here in Nigeria, everybody wants to be governor, if that's the position that is vacant.
Any vacant position they want to occupy.
Whether whether you are qualified
Or not.
competent, nobody cares. You just want to be the governor, since that position will be vacant. So now, the party has decided that it's no longer doing indirect primaries. It's going to embrace the direct primaries. But people need to know, whichever option you use, it all boils down to, is there going to be fairness? He was talking that those who have textbook notion about, direct primaries, they can go to town and be, and be jolly about it. But the truth is, in the primaries, in every political party, the way we enact leadership, that's the most important, part of it. The moment you get it wrong from that aspect, the whole thing, because the populace is people that emerge from the primaries. They are the few ones the society will choose from. You get me? But when you look at the parties, the system we run now, the governor at the state level is the leader of the party. And go and study the structure of, party financing at every level now. So the governor is in charge if it's the state. So when they are talking about delegate lists, they understand the powers that our governors work when it comes to that. Governors work, with the parties at the state and the federal level. So now, if you say you don't want indirect primaries, you want direct primaries, it still boils down to the same thing. Are you going to be fair? Because at the end of the day, who is the party chairman at local government level that is not known to the governor, the sitting governor? Who is the chairman or at the ward level that is not known? So today, members of the political parties, all of them, who are the ones paying dues. Unlike in the past, when people will have membership card and like you do contributions, they will mark it for you. It's no longer the case. People go into the parties to seek what they can get out of it, not what they can bring into it. So now, if you now go in there, how do you ensure that the very best, the most capable, credible person emerges? So we need to wait, because it's difficult. It is when the process is concluded that you're planning, going to court, writing petitions, there's always appeal at the end of the day. The party will set up appeal committee. Then the appeal will submit to the party and blah, 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 the process. So those are the issues. So me, I'm not extremely enthusiastic about the method you use. What I am most concerned about is, have you tried to create a level playing field? Right. Will the biggest, will the deepest pocket pick, the ticket? So if those are the issues, then our democracy, how do we say, is growing?
We'll see how the party fares tomorrow. This time tomorrow, we should, have some issues that would have arisen in terms of the conduct of the primary election. We should know where the party is headed in terms of its governorship election, primary election in Kogi State. We'll talk some more on Journalist Hangout after this break. Please stay with us.
Jole, and I am from Ogun State, but I'm based in Lagos. I've just recently taken a trip to Ibadan, and in returning I decided to take the train. So I said, I'm not so sure, but I'm willing to try.
We thank God that the commencement of this present administration, railway was at a very, very low ebb. And when they came, they took the bull by the horn.
And I'm really happy that I tried. This was probably the most seamless journey I've had since I've been in Nigeria. For example, the train left on time. I was not expecting it to leave on time. 8 a.m., we were on the move. I think it's an amazing alternative to being on the road, especially with just the traffic. It's quite intense, there's insecurity, and it would be amazing to see the government invest a bit more into to more trains going into other cities and states, it would really free up the congestion that takes place on the road and leisure type of experience within Nigeria.
Are you ready to win big? It's Max Millions.
Give me that money. Pay off bills.
We're giving away 1 million naira to our lucky listeners who win a share of the 1 million naira. Tune in to 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja from 6 a.m. Listen out for the winning song, be the 10th caller, beat the clock, and you could win big with Max Millions.
Money.
Stop! He said stop! 25,000 naira! Come on!
Max Millions, only on Max FM. What is better than your view on...
As they count down to the inauguration of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's 16th president continues, more and more world leaders are showing solidarity with him in recognition of his well-deserved win. The United States, United Kingdom, China, Ukraine, France, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cuba, Nicaragua, Namibia, and a host of others have already sent in their congratulatory messages. The ECOWAS Parliament and other ECOWAS bodies, the D8, that is, the Developing Aid Organizations for Economic Cooperation, the African Union, are among organizations that have recognized Bola Tinubu.
All political leaders following the declaration by Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, or INEC, on the results of the February 25th presidential election. This competitive election represents a new period for Nigerian politics and democracy. Each of the top 3 candidates was the leading vote-getter in 12 states, a remarkable first in Nigeria's modern political era, reflecting the diversity of views that characterize the campaign and the wishes of Nigeria's voters.
Namibia also looks forward to a good working relationship with the incoming government of President-elect His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The goal of world leaders is to partner with a prosperous Nigeria, the economic giant of the African continent. Tinubu's presidency is expected to usher in unprecedented growth and development across all critical sectors.
Thank you for staying with us on TVC News. Of course, you're still watching Journalists Hangout, and it's time now to do yet another postmortem of the 2023 general election. Of course, the elections attracted international attention, and the outcome is also getting global scrutiny, as now the spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, that's Festus Keyamo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has reiterated that the elections were credible. Mr. Keyamo, the Minister of Sports, Sonidari, and others who addressed the press at Washington, D.C., the United States, said the fact that APC leaders, including the president-elect, and governors lost their home states to the opposition is enough justification for the credibility of the elections. Asuko, of course, understandably, the APC is still sticking to its position that the elections were credible. This back and forth now, what do you make of it? This is not the first time. I keep telling myself this is not the first time we'll have elections. And, you know, people have said, you know, despite these hitches here and there, the Nigerian elections are, imagine that they're evolving. But what do you make of, you know, the issues that have arisen since the conduct of the elections?
Well, I think for the APC team, going to America to go and justify all these things is because they just want to, because there's so many stories flying around. And for them to have gone to America and they are traveling, I think it even started with Lai Mohammed, you know, to make sure that the narrative is not twisted in any way. Makes a lot of sense, because the thing is, the way supporters of some different, for other political parties are taking this election is like if it's not us, then the country has to burn. But no, we need to tone down our voices a bit so that we can hear ourselves. And the only way we can hear ourselves is we have places that we can hear ourselves, and which is the courts. Elections have been done, conducted, the winner has emerged. INEC has declared the winner. INEC is the only body by law, that is given the right by law to conduct elections. And it's only INEC that can decide who the winner is. So the next place that anybody, if you're aggrieved, the next place you can go to, if you feel that INEC didn't do one or two things right, is for you to go to court. And so they have gone to court. But there are so many people who are still trying to feel that they are aggrieved. And the way they've been sounding and sending messages outside the shores of Nigeria is not palatable in that. And that is why the likes of Keyamo, the likes of Lai Mohammed has also gone out, to try and tell the international community that, come, this election was done. And thankfully, from the statements from Keyamo and his team, what they said was that they gave reasons why this election was credible. And we participated, when I mean participated, because we are stakeholders, the media is a stakeholder in this whole thing. From what we saw, we have been able to also gauge our own. And then we saw, okay, fine. Based on the past elections and this particular election, we have also gauged it and to say that this election wasn't really that bad as many people are, claiming. Because, Kemi, we have been in this Nigeria whereby you can sit in your house and before you know it, they would have announced results in your polling unit in this same country. But it didn't happen in this election. We had the game changer, which I call the game changer. The Beavers was the game changer. It started, yes, when they brought it out, it started with its own glitches. But in this election, the observers, both international and local observers, rated Beavers very high, meaning that we are getting there. I'm not sure there's any country in the world that will have 100%, when I mean 100%, credible or no, 100% election. When you say, oh, we want to rate election.
100% free and fair.
Free and fair. No, there is no place. Even America, Trump still believes he's supposed to have been declared the winner. There were some counties, there were some places that they had to recount in America. So if you look at it, and then not that Trump just say, okay, fine, everywhere has to, you can see what happened, what has been happening. They've been having, they had the June 6th committee looking into what happened after the election. So, but we don't want to get to that point. And that is why the likes of Keyamo, they are all out there trying to tell the international community that this election has been done and a winner has emerged. To me, that is the best thing. We need peace in Nigeria. And that is what they are saying. Now, because the rhetorics outside is different from what we are. In fact, the way we are going about, the opposition is going about the whole thing, is they are not trying to help the country to remain united. And the simple thing they can do is just to tell their supporters, guys, we are in court. So we need people to tone down their rhetorics, their negative rhetorics, so that the court will decide. Because if you look at it, anytime one of them remains silent, the next thing is, there's nobody that they have not even attacked in Nigeria. If you go online, they have attacked the judiciary, they have attacked INEC, they have attacked police, they have attacked even the people that we respect, Kemi, that even when we are young, we look up to. Our mentors, either in the industry or even in our field, they attack them for no just cause, just because of this election. So we need to see how we can make sure that this is, I don't want to really go to, I will go down, I want Adekule to, respond later. But the thing is we need to tone down, and that is why the likes of Keyamo, Ajuri, and then Sunday Diary are out there to tell the world that this election was conducted in a very credible manner. And let's take it that way.
The parties, at least the three main parties, have gone to court within the 21-day window that INEC, declared for, parties to file in their appeals. Yet the dust has not settled. Their supporters and even key personalities within the parties have also, still going out, talking within and outside the shores of Nigeria, talking about how the polls went. Some saying it was a sham, the polls were a sham, and of course the APC saying this time around in America that the polls were indeed credible, looking at the emergence of losers and winners.
Well, anywhere in the world, and we've tried to find out, there has never been anywhere that there was a perfect election. It has never happened. Any arrangement involving human beings, it's impossible to have perfection. So, and that is why when you read one of the most unforgettable legal luminaries in terms of election petition, he pointed it out, that there is this, what they call doctrine of substantial compliance. And what that presupposes is that you can never have perfect election anywhere in the world. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria. America that preaches, a rule of law, democracy, doesn't do perfect elections. And name the country that does. There's none. So here, the opposition, is hell-bent on discrediting this election. February 25th, was the election perfect? I will come out and say, no, it wasn't perfect. But there was substantial compliance with the provisions of the law, and the result reflected the wishes of the people. I've seen protests all over Nigeria. Was there any protest anywhere in Nigeria? So look at the result. Try, as an unbiased person, try and disagree. Just study the results. Buhari, the sitting president, the man who signed the law, upon which the election was conducted. Yes. He lost in his own state. Buhari came out and even did what is not even proper. Exactly. He voted and brought out, all through the elections, he was describing Ashwaju as the Khalifa. Khalifa means the successor, my successor. He voted and brought out this is the way to go. And I counted about 5 other aides of the president, like the Attorney General and some of them, who did the same thing in their respective states. But Katsina, that's Atiku won, not Bola Tinubu, in Katsina State. Bola Tinubu, from Lagos State, didn't win Lagos. Governors in Nigeria, they are in charge of their parties, of their states. They are more or less like, I don't want to use terrible words to describe them. At least 20 of them lost, mostly ruling party, their states, during presidential elections. We have about 8, if I don't know whether I'm right again, among them, sitting governors who want to go to the Senate after retiring, from office as governor. They want to go and be enjoying themselves in the Senate. How many of them? They lost their senatorial bid. And for those who don't understand it, going to the Senate is just a third of the votes that made you governor. After 8 years, you now needed 1/3 of the votes of your state. And you failed. What does that say? It says that thing, beavers, the people, made the people's vote to count. You can go on and go on and go on and go on. And if you look at some of the things that the result, brought out, you will know that the APC won that election. There was a piece written by one, brilliant professor. If you are familiar with Ilorin 49, that group that fought, Ilorin management to stand. It was a national crisis that lasted for several years. The man that led that group, the Dr. Lorun Oju, wrote a piece about this election, and he went into the links. At a point, they wanted to hang on to the section of the Constitution that says, and Abuja. Now, he now went into the linguistics that, laws are written, in the languages, whether English, Yoruba, Hausa, at least, interpreted that by this law, going by the language, and these are what? And. That I've actually won either way. Whether you use and to me, Abuja is included, or that the man won in 29 states.
In 29 states.
That he met the constitutional requirement to be president of Nigeria in 29 states. Whether you look at it from the argument that is being canvassed by the opposition or by that and or So 29 states. Article 1. I mean, in terms of what the Constitution says,
which is the
that is what the Constitution expects. He got it in 21 states. You get my point? But the law says you must have so percent in 24 states of the Federation. Now, what of Peter Obi? So, what I would just say is, people should calm down. Nobody has ever expected, even our law, didn't expect INEC to be a perfect organization. INEC does not have the final say in our elections. INEC will say whatever it has to say. If you agree, if you are not happy with whatever INEC has done, the law has provided for you to approach the courts up to the Supreme Court. So if you lose at so stage, go ahead, exhaust the provisions of the law up to the Supreme Court. It is whatever is decided at that level that is final. So INEC can declare A, and at the Supreme Court, B may emerge. It has happened several times in our country, and Evans didn't fall. So why now that we insist that, our courts, pronounce on these issues? We're now appearing to be watching our dirty linens, all over, the world. If you see the global media, what people are writing there about our election, about Nigeria, 25th February election is not going to be the end of Nigeria. If you lose today, that's tomorrow.
And I was even getting to that, because the fact that we are now taking this issue is now being, is it celebrated? Is that the word now? Celebrated outside the country. Wouldn't it have implications for us as a people, regardless of where you fall in, whether I'm, of this party or you are for another party? Won't it have implications on us as a country, on our perception out there?
No, it's definitely going to, because, and that is why we are telling people to calm down. Because if you calm down, people are just putting things on social media. We are all not going to. There are so many people who would like to do businesses outside Nigeria, one way or the other. We don't know particularly how this government, the new government, will come with good policies that will make people want to even venture into export and things like that. And it will require you to, seek visa to go to those countries. Now, if you have posted things that are unpalatable, one way or the other, do you think that country will want, any country outside wants to even do business with you? So people have to think. It's not about, because if it's not my person, then everywhere will scatter. No. So we are having, I think from what Keyamo and Co. they are doing is to make sure that what people are painting outside is not actually true. Yes, we might not have the 100% that everybody is talking about. But the thing is, the process, the election was at least credible enough. And we are growing. there is no perfect democracy anywhere in the world. There is no perfect. There are even some people who are even trying to run away from democracy and saying they want to bring their own brand of, type of government, But the thing is, let us just calm down and see how I keep telling people, since Buhari has even come, he's signing into law the Electoral Act has changed a lot of things. There are times that we used to have soldiers who participated actively in elections in Nigeria. But since this man came, you don't see soldiers being very, very active in elections. And people should also stop cherry picking, when it's APC, people will say they have rigged the election. But when there is another party that wins the election, they will now start hailing. No. But it is the same Buhari that conducted this same election. And it's the same this electoral act that we are using. And just like Adekunle said, the thing is, the Supreme Court has overturned so many elections. Have you forgotten Bayelsa? When the man was preparing for him to be governor, they removed him.
See,
even him, we have so many like that.
You see, the whole world needs to know, because when you talk about the Labour Party and the opposition biggest PDP, they lost the election many months before before February.
Because 25th. The G5 was there. It was even glaring for everybody to know.
You need to contextualize issues, because many people didn't know. With Peter Obi's, votes combining with what
Kwankwaso,
forget Kwankwaso.
Yeah,
with Atiku got, Ebola Tinubu would have been in the court today.
Yes,
probably.
Exactly.
You understand me? Because Atiku would have won.
By at least 13 million.
Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, the two of them lost the election many months before February 25th. Remember, it was the same Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi that, flew the ticket of the PDP in 2019. You remember?
Against Buhari.
Against Buhari. You saw what happened in that election, and you saw how INEC was running from pillar to post. There was server, there was no server. And at the end of the day, the court pronounced, and that was it. Buhari stayed. Now, in 2023, the two teams, formidable team anyway.
Yeah.
You got my point?
All apart.
So a few months before the election, after the primaries I think before the primaries of the PDP, that should be around June last year, if I remember very well. What happened? Peter Obi, PDP, 2022. You get me?
The last Labour we knew was during Mimiko's time.
And he became governor in Ondo.
He brought out his supporters, and most of the supporters of the Labour Party happen to come from the southeast. Don't forget, in Nigeria, religion, ethnicity, they are defining factors. It may not be good, it is sad, but they are defining factors in our elections, in our politics. So now, Atiku Abubakar, not even stopping there, they are the aggrieved G5. You may not like their politics. I don't like it too. But the fact is that they were influential enough to do damage, followed Atiku to the end. April 25th. And when you look at the results, you need to contextualize this. Atiku Abubakar lost the election long before February 25th.
Right.
And the Labour Party, who is now the representative of the Nigerian youth, who is now being made to look like the newest thing in our politics. It's not new. It's one of the old cards anyway. So you know what happened. But they all lost the election before.
All right, gentlemen. Now the attention has shifted to the courts, and even lawyers, notable lawyers, have also spoken about how well the courts have fared why, according to them, should the courts determine who emerges the victor of elections? Why doesn't the battle end at the polling stations? Why the courts? And now that courts are going to determine the outcome of the petitions of these aggrieved parties, where do you see this all headed, especially when you look at the outcry, when you look at the grievances people are also, spewing out there outside the courts?
Well, I can't determine for the judiciary.
Absolutely.
You understand, but
in terms of the confidence that people have on the judiciary,
the thing is,
why can't we just allow the court, like you both have said,
yes,
calm down?
Let me tell you, people should have faith in the judiciary. Why? Because they are the last hope of the common man, just like we say. Yeah, that is it. So we must always respect the judiciary. Vilifying the judiciary, denigrating the judiciary does not make it look as if they don't know what they are doing. There's so many things about the judiciary, but the thing is, whether we abuse them, we cause them, the people who will be sitting at the panel, whether in the tribunal and then they move to Supreme Court, they will be looking at the law for them to decide. So Nigerians should, I have confidence in the judiciary. Right. Because you know why? Kemi, we have seen several election cases that have been overturned in Nigeria, for crying out loud.
All right. We've run out of time. Adekunle, please carry on.
When we have grievances, it is because the law does not envisage us to resort to self-help.
Yes, exactly.
And that is why the courts are there for you to approach.
Yes.
If you're angry with anything, if you are not satisfied, approach the court. And why is our politics different? In business, in personal relationships, in everything. When you are aggrieved, you go to the court. Those who are not happy that the court, eventually choose the winner, should just polish that off. Go to the court if you're angry. Atiku Abubakar is not happy about what INEC has gone to the court. Let the matter be determined there. Same thing for Peter Obi and same thing for every other person. You get my point? At the end of the day, whatever is decided there is final. So those who are now complaining that why should the courts be the ones to determine, even in America, who does? You go to the court if you are not satisfied. Lately, you remember in the US, they had to go to Florida to ask the court to determine what happens there. And the moment that is resolved, the winner, is pronounced. So we should not begrudge the court for choosing the winner or affirming the winner or whatever that happens there, since the law has given them that prerogative. Right. And the court does not just jump into the space. It is the people who approach the court.
Of course.
The aggrieved parties. And that's what democracy is all about.
All right, gentlemen, this is a fine point to rest our conversations for this Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. Asuko James and Adekunle Yusuf, thank you both very much for your insights on Journalist Hangout today. We thank you all also for keeping us company and watching and keeping faith with us on TVC News. You can join us again tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us also on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. And we're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Kemi Fola-Adeyemo. From all of us here, bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX digital compact treadmill system complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home. You could pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this, but you can get the SportX treadmill for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira. Order right now and get this for just 264,950 naira only. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the SportX digital compact treadmill delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Hurry, limited stock available. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Genuine business people desirous of success in today's environment ignore the taxman only at their own peril.
Under the oversight of this board, the FIRs will continue its transformation into a premier revenue collecting agency.
For up-to-date and accurate information on your obligations, duties and rights under the various tax laws in Nigeria, watch Tax Matters on TVC News Thursday 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to TVC News this hour. We'll begin in Lagos with updates on the 7-story building which collapsed in the Banana Island area of the state. Now, the state government says preliminary investigation will take place to find out the root cause of the disaster. This comes just as journalists were earlier today kept outside the estate for hours before finally gaining entrance. Theophilus Elama has details.
Many of us have been here for hours on end. Journalists were not allowed into the Banana Island estate. The location of the building collapsed. Estate security men and officials say work is going on in the site of the collapsed structure. Hence, visitors and construction workers were not allowed in, even if one has the entrance code. After waiting several hours and getting information in piecemeal, journalists moved in just to ensure they get the right and accurate information. After they were allowed into the estate and ultimately to the site of the collapsed building, journalists could see that work were ongoing to bring the rubble to ground zero. You can see behind me the forklift is at work, and of course, emergency responders are doing all they can. Earlier, within the building, within this area, we saw men of the standard organizations of Nigeria taking parts and pieces of the materials, possibly to go and have some tests. And of course, I'm aware that the members of the Lagos State Material Testing Agency are also here, and some other government agencies and emergency responders are here to ensure that they go to ground zero here.
We are going to carry out holistic investigations about what led to this. Not only that, we are going to do structural tests on all the structures in this compound. Again, you can see that we are using sophisticated equipment. We use Delta equipment to check whether there's anybody under the rubble. And the feedback we got was that there was no anybody under the rubble.
From what can be seen here, they've been able to at least manage the emotions that normally immediately accompany incidents of this nature. And they are providing adequate security for the team and the entire environment. So from my interaction with the top leadership of the emergency response team, they are fully they've been commending the efforts of the response time of the police.
The government says one adult male was missing, but quickly denies speculations that he will be in the rubble.
With the combined efforts of all the first responders, we are able to rescue 7 alive. And the 7 that were rescued were treated on spot. However, we transferred one to a private hospital where he is receiving adequate treatment.
This land belongs to Lagos State government, and let the get an officer or whatever that will take charge. Okay. Let them open all the gates. Yes, any gate that goes to
the Lagos State government says a probe is underway to ascertain the cause of the collapse. Other buildings within the location of the collapse will also go through integrity tests. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
Let's turn attention to Kaduna State, where at least 8 people have been reportedly killed by armed terrorists in Ungwangaya community of Zagon-Kataf local government area. Although the police authorities are yet to comment on the development, Francis Sani, who was chairman Zagon-Kataf local council, revealed that the assailants stormed the community at about 9 p.m. on Wednesday. It was also gathered they invaded at least 5 houses, during which they shot 8 people dead, while 4 others sustained varying degrees of injuries. The latest attack is coming few weeks after at least 10 persons were killed by bandits in Langson community in the same local government area. Let's talk politics now. Ahead the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June, Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives has denied working against the aspiration of his deputy, Ahmed Wase, to be Speaker. Femi Gbadabiamila was reacting to a newspaper report that he was against the aspiration of his deputy, Ahmed Wase, and some other aspirants for the office of Speaker in the 10th House. He said, quote, "I have not declared support for any of my colleagues who have declared their interest. I have made my position abundantly clear that there is a need to wait for the party to complete its zoning exercise, as I cannot work against my party's interest and position. I am a product of APC zoning in 2019, and I shall adhere to that anytime the party comes up with its arrangement. Anyone or media peddling rumors of my endorsement of any of the aspirants should desist forthwith," end quote. In a related development, a coalition of members-elect for the 10th House of Representatives says it is committed to respect the decision of the All Progressives Congress on zoning. The members-elect also promised to abide by the decision of opposition parties on minority leadership of the House in line with parliamentary best practices. The coalition, known as Joint Task, comprises 283 members-elect from the All Progressives Congress, the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, New Nigeria People's Party, Social Democratic Party, All Progressives Grand Alliance, African Democratic Congress, and the Young Progressive Party. The members-elect say their main focus is to promote the independence of the legislature for good governance. Already, 283 members-elect, comprising returning and new members, have endorsed the coalition, which awaits the decision of the governing APC on the zoning of the various offices. Ahead the governorship rerun election in Adamawa State on Saturday, 15th of April, the All Progressives Congress has